How was your trip?
My trip?
Yeah.
Oh, it was awesome.
Good.
I mean, on the water.
It can't go back, can it?
Yeah.
Good.
It was awesome.
What's that? Or the back.
You want to come to anything?
This one is a problem.
What's that?
No, this one is a problem.
I don't know how to work pretty much like township. Yeah.
I saw two sets of deer,
They sold new lots up on Metamora Ridge yet, you know?
Some of them have been sold by a different builder in Blackville.
So, any of those are going to be there. Okay. I haven't been up there walking. 5 out of 6?
I think 5 or 6. I can't remember.
Oh, well, there's only
14?
Okay.
12, 14 in there?
Different builders and personal.
That's what I said.
But the boots are on the top shelf, so hardwood. So big.
I read those on there.
Are you sure?
Because everybody usually thinks it's unlocked because they go to check it and it unlocks because it's safety. So.
Well, I also told her they didn't have public bathrooms down here, so she wanted to go before we came and she didn't.
Don't let her make fun of you. You can always use that bathroom. Yes.
Call the meeting to order. All right, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Move and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? Police report, sir. We'll get you out of the way in case you gotta leave.
Sounds good, appreciate it. Good evening, everybody. For July 2025, the Metamora Township Police Department had 338 calls for service. 25 of those calls for service were in the village, with the majority of those being traffic stops. If you look on the report, it shows a larceny report, which actually was a civil matter. There was actually no larceny. Just want to go over a couple things about Metamora Days, some security measures. Our flock condor camera at the intersection of Oak and High is active and working. So we'll be able to monitor 24 hours a day when the festival is going on. Our drone unit's going to be available 24/7 and is going to be deployed at different times throughout the events, just for security measures. The 2025 emergency operations plan for the festival is almost complete. I'm just waiting on the National Weather Service to give me the complete forecast all the way through Saturday. Today it only went up to Friday, so they're gonna give me a complete one tomorrow. I'll have that all ready to go. The village president will get a copy of that. What the operations plan is a comprehensive document that outlines how police, fire, EMS, emergency services will respond to emergencies and disasters that could arise during the festival. Throughout the event, we're going to have our agency, also Pierre Township PD is going to help us out, the Sheriff's Office Explorers, and the Michigan State Police Pierre Post is also going to help us out. Prior to the festival on Friday morning, all activities such as the beer tent and stuff are going to be inspected prior to, make sure everything's how it needs to be. Traffic control this year will be handled by us, Lapeer Township, the Sheriff's Office, and the State Police. The officers that are working are going to be wearing reflective vests. This year, also something new, if the balloon field fills up prior to the launch, which usually it does around 5 o'clock, we have signage that is going to go out and it's going to indicate that the parking is full. We're not closing it down or anything like that, but we're going to indicate that it's full, and we're going to suggest using the shuttle, the free shuttle that's going to be used. The shuttle has 2 spots this year. It's going to be at the Township Hall overflow parking, and then also at the Hunters Creek Church. So what it's going to do is make a big circle. It'll stop at the township, it'll go out 24, down to the Hunters Creek Church, and then back around to the Lions Hall. So it'll be a big circle. Again, that's a free shuttle. After the balloon launch, which is our heavy traffic issue, we are going to divert traffic either north or southbound, and as long as we can, and once it backs up, we're going to switch and they're going to go the opposite way. So if you are downtown or at the balloon field, after the balloons go up and you're trying to get out of there, you may have to go northbound if you're directed that way, or you may have to go southbound. So it's going to depend on how traffic goes, but we're going to see if we can alleviate some of the issues that we've had in the past. That's basically all I have, unless you guys have any questions for me.
Thank you. Council got any questions?
You've done a great job so far, thank you.
Thank you. Fire report.
Well, for July, we had 28 runs. One of those runs being in the village. And that was a CO alarm up in Jamestown and 15th. But other than that, we had 10 fires. 2 of those fires were down wires, 2 CO alarms, 4 false alarms. We had to have 1 structure fire down on Thomas Road. Put a good stop on it, thanks to Oxford. They assisted us. I'm not sure on the total damage, but should have saved the house. And 1 trailer brake fire up here on 24 near Dryden. We had 6 PIs and 12 medicals.
County Commissioner, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President, council members. Back on July 24th, we had a full board meeting. We approved Central Dispatch to upgrade the radios in council to the cost over $200,000. Has to be upgraded because of new encryption standards for lean traffic. And thankfully, it comes out of 911 millage, which is still taxpayer money. We all pay it with our phone bills, but it doesn't have to come out of the general fund. We also passed a resolution honoring Phil Katz for his 26 years on his retirement new issue extension. And on July 24th, the most interesting thing was we had 34 people speak during public time. The vast majority of them about animal control. One of our county commissioners at a prior meeting during commissioner comments made a comment that any animals that are there for more than 30 days, either not being claimed or not being adopted, he thought they should be euthanized. Needless to say, that caused a big uproar. Social media, we got emails from across the state, even from out of state, and the 34 people, the vast majority, that's what they talked about. Wanted us to make sure we vote no on the resolution. There was no resolution. One commissioner made a comment. On 8/14, we had the committee of the whole meeting. We authorized friend of the court to enter the leases for 2 copiers. Their other leases had expired. Amazingly, the new lease is a different company, actually is less than it had been before, which is unusual. The other thing I want to spend some time talking about is we had a special meeting on July 30th dealing with some litigation. And of course, it's a special meeting. It was we had a closed session to deal with that. And of course, what goes on in closed session is private. But after we went back in open session, we passed a resolution by 6-1 to take the attorney's recommendation to settle the lawsuit. Let me talk about the lawsuit. The attorney did give us a summary that we can say to other people. And of course, it has to do with the tax foreclosure sales. You know, for years, you didn't pay your taxes for 3 years, you went into tax foreclosure. County sold it, got the back taxes paid, and then kept the rest. The Michigan Supreme Court in July of 2020 ruled that that was unconstitutional. So Michigan, the legislature in December of 20 provided a procedure where the county has the back taxes paid, they get to keep 5% for administrative costs, and then the rest goes back to the property owner who didn't pay his taxes. There's class action lawsuits. There's 3 of them in federal court. Every county in Michigan is involved. We are in the Eastern District with 26 other counties. The settlement will cut off, so anybody after this fact won't be able to make a claim. We also do not take the risk of having to pay plaintiff's attorney fees that they could get if they went to a judgment. So we did pass that resolution, so hopefully we can get this put behind us. It's a lot of money. Our share is going to be about $2.4 million. Thankfully, we have $4.7 million in our foreclosure fund. The county has never spent that money. Some of the treasurer employees have had their pay come out of that, not the treasurer or the deputy treasurer, rather than the general fund. So there is money there. And so the whole idea is we're finally going to get this behind us. Since 2020, any tax foreclosures, the excess has gone back to the property owner. So that's what I've got this evening. Any questions, I'm happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Couple of any other questions? Okay. Planning Commission.
We canceled the meeting. Nothing on the agenda, no sense in.
Yeah. DDA, I wasn't at this one, so.
So we approved the signs, Orion Signs is actually working on all the signs. We were kind of hoping to have them done by Metamora Days, but, there was a member that had a bunch of questions that had to be answered first. Also, we have 7 ponds, looking at doing a bunch of stuff up there. Looking at getting some benches.
Different places, shrubs still for butterflies and birds and
Yeah.
that stuff, yeah.
They were supposed to come out and look with Leah and see what they thought were good areas to put different things, just so people can walk along. They have like if you've been to 7 Ponds, you see it like a kids area, like sensory for flowers and stuff like that. Mike Nolan had actually donated some money from when his dad died, so we're gonna get like a bench for him for that and have that out there, maybe a couple other ones. Just so like as you're walking along, those that can't walk that far, because that is uphill for some people, you can kind of just stop and sit on the bench. So.
And we're talking, this is the bowl down by the Lions Club, correct?
No, so, the bowl, they had came out and looked and said the bowl is not a good area to do it. Because it fills with water a lot. So they wanna redetermine the area.
So we don't know where they're considering right now.
Not exactly, no. But there's like, to go along the fence, like for the Lions Hall, they're talking about like a patch that will go there. There's a sign that's going up out there, so doing a little garden around there. The benches would kind of go with the row for the fence for the Lions Hall. So like every so far, just a couple benches. Maybe one out towards the back of the balloon fields, you know?
Yeah.
So, you gotta feel. And that was it.
Good. Attorney report, probably everything's down there, or?
3 items, 2 of them are on the agenda. The other one, Tina just emailed me this afternoon, and the answer is really clear on that. The question is, what happens if a homeowner has to clean out or repair a sewer lead? So you've got the main line, which is the sewer main, and then from there to the house is the sewer lead. And the ordinance since 1997, 28 years ago, has been very clear that that's the homeowner's responsibility to construct, install, and to maintain that. So any expense that goes with that is the homeowner's expense.
Okay. Excuse me. Council communication.
So we've been working back and forth with the state on our dredging of the sewer lagoons of the permit. It's gotten kicked back from the state twice for verbiage and different words that they want changed and different drawings they want, so it is back in the state's hand for another approval. I don't want to hear back any day because it got resubmitted 3 weeks ago.
Is that something you submit?
No,
or
something after you submit.
Okay.
And then the state actually got back with us and said, you know, basically we want this, this, and this added to it. So just waiting to hear back from the state.
But moving forward, so.
Correct.
Nothing else? If not, I've got something on I call it the railroad train, getting that dredge back out. I have not met personally with Mark Edwards. We have had 2 lengthy phone call discussions on it though. And he talked again with R&M Excavating. He's thinking he might be able to get in there and start cutting the trees before Labor Day weekend. So that should start moving. He's been tied up out here on Barber Road doing the jobs for the county as they're doing all their ditch work out there. So, but it hasn't been just swept under the paperwork. It's been second call. Tonight we had another call just before, 20-minute phone call. So he knows exactly where, because we had it marked with some ribbons. He knows what's got to be done and where. And they were planning on Rick from R&M, once they get started, come take a look, because they don't want to rip out any good trees if they can, and they're going to try to leave a barrier towards the residential if and where they can, where you don't see that open ditch down through there. So, other than that, I don't have any other, but it's moving forward on that too. So.
Thank you.
Council about anything?
That covered what I had.
Anything else right now? I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
And moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public time.
May I? Susan Huff, Metamora Township, member of Fight for the First Look Here. John DeAngelis, our vice chair of our library board, has taken an oath to protect the library. That oath includes fiduciary duty, fiduciary responsibility. John DeAngelis is actively promoting Axima Tax, which as a municipality I'm sure you're all familiar with. And you know what will happen if Axima Tax does make it to the ballot and does get passed. I have a letter here from Fight for the First Lapeer, we are calling for him to resign due to that. We believe that his actions constitute a breach of his oath. I'll leave that letter with you when I'm done. This weekend, Mr. DeAngelo sat in the Republican County booth at Lapeer Days, sat and helped get signatures for Axe My Tax, like he had done on July 19th, also at a booth that was totally Axe My Tax. But additionally, at this booth, sitting in front of Mr. DeAngelis, was a handout that is being circulated by a group that says all of these horrible things are happening in our library. It was very defamatory. It was also misleading, I would say. For example, one of the items on it shows a picture of a 50 Shades of Grey DVD, and it says, "This DVD was checked out on a minor child's card." Well, that makes all of us think that the librarians had a duty to stop that checkout. It makes us all think a child checked that out. But at the Lapeer County Tea Party meeting this spring, one of the board members told the story of how she and the parent of this minor child took that minor child's card, went to the library, and checked out that DVD using the minor child's card, which to me is very misleading when you then go ahead and post something like that on there. We have in this packet also some information from the Library of Michigan. It talks about library trustees, what their oath means. It talks what fiduciary duty is in terms of a library trustee. It talks about what censorship is. And I hope that you will take the time to take a look at those. And I apologize because I did not come from home. My dogs are waiting for me in the car. I only had 8 copies of these, which looks like it will get around the table except for Mr. Denney. I will drop you a card, Mr. Denney, because these bits of information are, they're all on the website. So anybody can go there and see them, and I hope you will take the time to do that. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
I'll go next, if it's okay. I want to thank Chief Davis for coming and telling us about the operations plan. I do sincerely hope this year will go a lot better than last year, because last year was the worst year I have seen yet. With Country Days, it's a big deal. As I keep saying, you know, people say 10,000 people are coming to this little place with only 4 ways in and out, basically. And we're kind of crammed in here. We're kind of hostage to that event, those of us who live here. What are the street closing times? Are those going to be put on social media? Because that's one of the things when Lapeer streets get closed, council members say, hey, we want those closing times on social media. Sometimes people receive things in the mail saying the streets are going to be closed. Because when these are closed, I have to go miles and miles around, which often involves a bunch of dirt roads I don't want to be driving on. So that's something to know so that I can plan my day. Because I still have to go to work. I still have to operate as a resident here. So at the DDA meeting, Dan mentioned that he's going to be on vacation this weekend. Just happened to overhear that at the DDA meeting. Does that mean Tina is also on vacation? I don't know. If so, who is the point person for the village? If something happens here, who is the point person for the village? I would like to know that. Maybe you guys can say it later. Because you never know what's going to happen. How many volunteers are going to be handling things out in the parking field and in general at the event for the chamber and the Lions? That's something that should have been in the plan. Anybody have an answer for that? Maybe you can give that later. Oh, by the way, I really hope someone is just dedicated, or multiple people are dedicated to making sure those hydrants are not blocked up. The Lions have made some changes in the past week to their site. They put up a fence in front of their facility, which I'm not sure if that was approved or is even a great idea for egress. I don't know, that's something a fire marshal would typically be looking at. And then they put in lighting. Were those the changes permitted and inspected? I sure hope so. Now, if when the front field in Metamora Community Park is closed for parking, are people who with handicap parking still going to be able to access it? And is there signage so that they know they can go in and get close to the field? Because man, maybe you haven't taken care of someone with special needs, but I have, and I know the amount of planning that goes into those families trying to get their person out to that field. They need to be as close as possible, some of them. They cannot ride the shuttle. Those are not ADA compliant shuttles from what I have seen. They may have a wheelchair, they may have a walker. They really need to know that, and I wish that was publicized. So I hope that those folks are still allowed to get as close to the field as possible, and that there's plenty of parking for them. Is there going to be, who's gonna make sure there's an ADA compliant porta-john at every porta-john station? Because when you do events, that is something you just automatically do, but I don't know that the chamber here has that kind of experience, or that anyone in here knew that. But that is standard. If there's only one porta-john, it's ADA. If there's more than that, then you might have some standard ones. So I really hope someone's making sure that our village here is friendly to those with special needs and small children and anyone who needs more space in there. Chief Davis mentioned inspections out there. That's fantastic, thank you. But who's gonna be doing inspections and what are their qualifications? We'd love to know that as well. I also want to mention that I hope that no council members, now if you are charging for parking in their yards. Now if you want to allow people to park in your yard, that's between you and your homeowner's insurance. But if you were charging, that's a conflict of interest, so I just hope that's not happening. Yeah, so I hope we get some answers to those questions, thank you.
Who's next?
I guess I'll go. John Tapp, 3940 North Oak Street. As like all the other neighbors around, I think bad water kind of sucks. Wonder what you guys are gonna do about it. I brought with me today just a couple so you can see how bad they are. That's a brand new filter. It's cost me $40. And I got a whole bag, and that's 1 month. I got like 7 of them in there. So these are expensive. Yeah. So I'm just wondering what you guys are gonna do about it. I know it's not the tap from my house coming to my house. Everybody's like, well, did you check to see if from the tap to my house is rusted? I've watched Brian Lee flush multiple hydrants that are that color for hours, and they stay that color. It's a problem we have in Metamora. It's coming from somewhere. We have a super high manganese level. OSHA declares at 5 milligrams, that it is a hazardous level. Drinking water is 0.4%, and we are currently up to like the 500s. So those are health concern levels. I don't want this. My daughter has to bathe in this. We have to drink it. We have to cook in it. If it doesn't get cleaned up and we don't get answers, I'm gonna suggest everybody just stop paying their water bill, and we can drink it for free. If we're gonna get poisoned, might as well get it poisoned for free instead of paying to kill ourselves. So, yeah, that's all I have. So,
You know, we've had no problem with that. We're hoping well number one is going to help make a difference, and then possibly a filtering system we had checked in on and stuff, so better treatment part. So.
But both numbers one's on the agenda,
Right.
so.
Right, so that is being kind of looked at when we all drink and use the same water, so. Anybody else in public there? If not, we'll go to unfinished business, water main extension.
As you remember, last month, the Village Council authorized me to present a proposal to the Southern Group on an amended water agreement. That was about 3 weeks ago. I was notified this afternoon that they've hired a new law firm to represent them. So, and as far as I can tell, tomorrow's their first meeting with them, so I don't know where it's gonna go. They did have some constructive questions, most of them dealing with what's referred to as the water vault, the meter vault. And he suggested that we have the engineer and the water operator have a conference call with their engineer folks, and we have given everyone the contact information our engineer and our water operator has said they're available, and so I assume that will take place shortly, as soon as their schedule allows. I did try to poke a little bit and say, do you know where you stand on the proposed agreement? And of course, then he came back and said, well, I meet with him tomorrow. So he really hasn't talked a whole lot with his clients, and there's quite a few of them. So that's pretty much where the ball's in their court at this point on that.
Does that change our 90-day limit?
We'll reevaluate it next month, but I want to see what they come back with. I just don't know what the response is going to be with a new lawyer and interacting with a large crew of corporate firms. So
I did talk to one of the residents last week too. Up there, there's kind of one of them that is doing all the pushing and stuff, making some of the right phone calls.
I have some, we've listened every month to people calling these water issues and things, and then we're also talking about extending the water out. And I'm wondering if we should, I don't want to see us spending money to people who live in the village get their water fixed. I know we've talked about it could be well one, it could be all these things, but it's kind of appalling that their water is what it is, and that should be our priority. I think that should be our number one.
The proposed agreement that we sent them had a clause that we added after last month, which says we don't have to provide a drop to them until well number one is replaced and operational.
And they have had their water problems fixed. I think that should be part of it.
I'm assuming that's going to take care of it. So
That's what all the studies have said, that's gonna take care of it.
Well, I know, but you know what assuming. So,
We didn't have the problem until well one went. Right.
So we're assuming it will, but I would feel better if we said, we will make sure that they will have their water cleared up.
Any other comments? You all done on that then? For now?
yes, yes.
Now you're back on. Well, number one.
Well, number one, to address this gentleman's concerns, last month the village council approved a well driller to replace well number one, and approved the engineering firm that needs to do the engineering work along with them to get that done. An email I got from the engineering firm today was they expected either late this afternoon or tomorrow morning to submit their initial paperwork to the state for the permit. That apparently is designed to initiate an on-site meeting with the Eagle representatives from the state to come out and try to plot out what they see, where things need to go, and then it sort of drops into the state's lap in terms of what they put in the permit requirements and things like that. So we are moving forward with that. We've already authorized the securing of the well driller and the engineering firm, and that's moving forward. So the process is mostly waiting for the state to give answers. When you actually talk to them about how long does it actually take to drill the well once you get going, and we're talking not that long.
That's the easy part.
That's the easy part. So it's dealing with
The hookup and everything.
Yeah, it's dealing with getting the permit approvals and the state outlining what they insist on having done. So, but as far as the well being drilled, that's not that part. That's not that long of a process.
Okay, good. That's moving forward. Any questions, anybody? Okay. Trustee vacancy.
Well, I did put out on our website and on Facebook, and it was in the newspaper, that we had a vacancy, for a council member. It's a partial term vacancy. It would be till the next election, which is in November of 2026. We had 4 people submit a letter of interest, and you have them all in front of you. The first one is from Ty Perry. The second one is Chuck Lilly. Then we have Patricia Phillips and Laura DeSantis. So I don't know if you guys took time to look them over, if you have any questions for any of them. So they are all present.
Do you want to act on it tonight or look at the
give us another days to get the replacement done. If we
Right.
don't, then somebody else will.
Are the candidates here?
Yes, they are all here.
Do they want to say anything?
Would anybody like to
I
speak?
kept mine short and sweet, so it only take you about 30 seconds for everyone.
It's unusual to get that many people volunteer. Usually we gotta beg and beg to get somebody to go on to the board.
I can't even sell a position.
So the way it works is somebody would announce it, because I did ask, and I correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Duffy, is it's not like by secret ballot or anything like that. It would be after the council has a discussion, a member of the council would nominate somebody to fill a vacancy, it would get seconded, it would get voted on. Alright?
I would suggest we just tell them, look, if they wanna say something, now's the time.
Or just introduce themselves?
I can introduce myself. My name is Ty Perry. I live on Barrows Street, and my family and I moved here a little over 3 years ago. We're originally from Michigan, but we were in Las Vegas, of all places, for 8 years. So coming to Metamora was kind of a breath of fresh air for us. Big city to very small town, but we have come to love this place and are here to help and serve the community in any way we can. If that's this position, then that's great. If not, well, I'll serve wherever else I can. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Patty Phillips. I've been a resident here for 27 years. Raised my family here. I came into Metamora when it was not what it is today, but I've come to love this village, and I'm very proud to have raised my children here, and they have wonderful memories of this area. I am since retired and looking forward to giving back to my community. I have watched a lot of development in this area. I've always been very interested in what's happening behind the scenes. My husband is on the other board, and Elizabeth was a very dear friend of mine, and I miss her dearly, very much. But I've known Tina, and I know Janet, and I know you from a long time ago, fireworks. But I love the village, and I just want to try to give back to the community in any way I can. I have all kinds of time, and I am a good listener.
Thank you.
My name's Chuck Lilly, or Charles Lilly. I've lived in the area my entire life. I grew up in Cornville, migrated for about 15 years in the drying area, and returned back to Metamora about 6 years ago. As with age, I'm looking to do some of my experience of just to help with my community. Probably try to give back a little bit. So coming back to this area has really made me appreciate the whole small town. I'd like to contribute with some of my work experience. I've got jobs in management and or had to deal with the state and things like that. So I'd like to be able to use those resources that I have to help contribute back to the community.
My name is Marci Kinkade. I've lived in Metamora for 18 years. Came from Hadley. I was there for about 10 years, raised my kids too. Went to other schools. I'm getting ready to retire, and I, like a lot of these people were just saying, I just kind of wanted to give back in some ways to the community. So I just thought, well, why not? Let's give it a chat and see what it's all about. So, just interested in it and just checking it out tonight, see what it's like, and feel like I can contribute too. I'm willing to work with people and have open mind to things, and I love this town too. I think it's a great town. It has so much to offer. And we want to attract younger families here too. So I just think we need to move forward in a positive direction, and hopefully, draw in some more younger families and keep this place lively. Not let it just go be a sleepy town, and it's not. And I love it here. So that's it.
What's the council's pleasure here?
I would make a motion to nominate Charles Lilly, the second, to be appointed to the temporary position.
I would like to nominate Ty Perry.
One at a time?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hold on.
if we're following Robert's rules, then it's, you nominate someone and you see if there's a second.
Right, okay.
So,
I'll second Charles.
So there's been a nomination and a second.
you know, vote on it.
Do we do roll call vote then?
Yes.
Roll call vote, Clark?
Yeah.
Morris? Walker?
Yeah.
Griswold? No. Suzy Clark? Yay. Tina Kinkade? Yay. The ayes have it.
Congratulations.
Everybody though, because this is the best one we've had. So please, I mean, be surprised if I reach out to you guys if we have something else come up.
And he will need to get sworn in at some point.
Yep. Yep, we'll have to swear him in, I'll have to give him his paperwork out.
Thank you all.
Yes, thank you very much.
No new business. Another public time, I guess.
So I'll go through the complaints really quick. There's 3 in your packet this month. So I finally made it to a DDA meeting. I've been trying for years to get to them. But they're a Tuesday at noon, which is an inappropriate time for a public meeting because 84% of the working population is probably at work at that point. But what I noticed there was kind of disturbing, actually. There were members there who weren't aware of the Open Meetings Act, it seemed. But it's an inappropriate venue to be holding it at the White Horse Inn, because that is a restaurant. It's also owned by one of the members of the DDA, and I'm not implying any bad intent on his part, but that affects how business is done, that affects discussion, that affects everything else. But also there's background music, and we citizens have the right to broadcast meetings under the Open Meetings Act. And that could cause us big problems having background music, particularly with lyrics, and all the music there had lyrics. But that also affects people's ability to hear. And if someone's hard of hearing, that very much might affect it. The setup of the table was also inappropriate for a public meeting. But it also exposes the staff to recording, and it exposes patrons and their conversations to potential recording as well. It felt very inappropriate to be there. There's also issues with food allergies. Some people cannot go to restaurants because they have airborne food allergies. Alcohol is served there. There are people on probation with conditions that say they cannot go to a place that serves alcohol. Now, some can go to a place that has alcohol and food, but some, depending on the wording, cannot go there. And no one should have to reveal these things to any of you. But it also takes attention away from the DDA. It just was really inappropriate. I also want to say that I was interrupted trying to give public comment there many, many times. It was really frustrating and it was really inappropriate on the part of those members, and I think that should be changed immediately. So ORV complaints this month. If you look through there, so the first one that comes up in front of me is Nick Holden, was driving, which is Suzy's nephew, right? Was driving the Village Kubota UTV around the corner, and I noticed he's got his phone up to his ear. That's illegal. It's also just extra dangerous when you're driving a UTV, which doesn't belong on the road. Notice all the red there. That's where I put when people do things that are not legal in golf carts. Tons of them out after dark. Tons of them. Driving on Blood Road where they shouldn't be. We could do something about that. And it's, again, prominent family doing that, setting the example that, hey, that golf cart resolution, we just don't obey it here. I guess I am wondering if there are any other groups of laws that we just don't obey, but I'm not on the listserv for that because I'm an outsider, so I don't get to know. And then also there was a problem with the DDA meeting and I did not get the agenda, which I have by FOIA requested. So happy 12th birthday to Metamora Community Park. It officially turned 12 last week. Still no sign. And I know that's kind of in the works, but that's taking like years and years and years to even get out a sign. I want this back, but this is Hadley's Park. If you look at the whole page here, pictures, they have had their park for 13 years and look at all of this development. Pickleball courts, and they just keep going, developing it even more. So that expensive water study that we paid for here in the village was like almost 50 grand. You guys said, hey, well, that's going to allow us to apply for grants. How many grants have we applied for? How many are we looking at? Anyone working on that? So let's not make that claim unless we're actually gonna do it, so let's do it. Let's look for grants to pay for some of this stuff. I just found it really odd when I watched last meeting, that Mr. Denney is advising on like well companies. That's usually not the business of the lawyer to be researching and doing that kind of thing. Contracts, reviewing contracts, yes, but I've been to an awful lot of public meetings, and he takes on a much bigger role in this council than lawyers typically do. The dredging is also taking just an extra super long time. Has it been like over a year and a half now? We're needing that dredging done. And I'm wondering why the ordinances are not on the website. I looked just this afternoon. So then people could look up and see the golf cart resolution and say, oh, actually there's a law about that. And the planning commission minutes are still not there. Minutes before 2017 still are not there. It's just, those things could all be there and all be available to the public. That's a website we all pay for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Karen, can I just ask, please, when you have your public time, you introduce yourself, give your name and your address like everyone else does.
I'm not gonna give you my address, and that is a request that you can make of me, but I don't have to give you any of that information, but I am a resident here.
I mean, we know that, but there's people in attendance that might not.
Okay, can I just say something? You're so negative. Do you have anything positive to say about the town that you live in?
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, I live in this town and I love it, and it has so many good qualities, but you just bring up all this shit.
Wait a minute, whoa. That's enough.
Public's not allowed to address other public.
Oh, okay, sorry, I don't know the rules.
And you have to be addressed if you want to talk.
So, try to be a positive light.
Is there any more public time? Do you want to talk? You can talk to the council.
I just have to say, I mean, if you live in this village, I think if you're gonna come to these meetings, you should also bring positivity too, and not just negative. Cause it's just like, you're just weighing down the city instead of helping it.
You are not supposed to, trust me.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. I'm sorry, I know, okay, I'm doing this. I'm just gonna say, I think people need to have a little better attitude, a little more positivity if they're gonna attend these meetings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, John Tapper, down 40 North Oak, also a firefighter on Metamora Fire. If you're looking to serve, we have open positions. Second off, the concern with the well, how much can that well produce at a given time? Is it significant since well one's down or having both, that if we had a major fire, if we're not going to hurt the water system here?
Yeah, our water tower holds enough supply that
It only holds 280,000 gallons.
and then with the well producing, well one, we have 3 wells technically, and only one of them are down, so.
Okay.
Yes, I've been told that we.
No, I'm just sorry. I didn't even know a well was down, so that was just brought up to my attention today. So that's all I have.
I don't know if it's on back, but.
Any other public comment? Not, I'll entertain one more motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Move and second to adjourn. All in favor? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you everybody for coming out tonight too. You know how much.
You would be very good at I can tell you to advice wherever it is, so hopefully you'll find your spot where you want to be, you know? Yeah, I'm in right downtown. Yeah. Just get ready to retire, so I'm like, okay. Have a great day. I'm gonna try to get back somewhere too. This probably wasn't the right spot.
How you doing?
But it's interesting, I'm having time to start tenure. You know? Well, good, I hope you find your little niche too. Yeah, nice to meet you. He's got his glasses today.
I mean, I can give it to you like.
Yeah.